Good afternoon, Knights. Thanks for joining us. I'm Skyler Williamson, and today is Thursday, April 24th, 2025. Here's your Charge on Air update. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy announced yesterday America will no longer use petroleum-based food dyes by 2026. The dyes RFK is aiming to eliminate are found in popular items such as Fruit Loops and Doritos. Kennedy says these dyes are to blame for the increase in ADHD diagnosis in children. This move comes after the Biden administration removed the artificial dye Red 3 with days remaining in his presidency. Kennedy said his next goal is to find out what causes autism by studying Americans' medical records. Shopping for clothes in Florida may become cheaper under a new proposed Florida Senate bill. If passed, clothing items priced less than $75 would be exempt from sales tax. Charge on Air reporter Stephen Brown tells us what the impact would look like.
Proposed Senate Bill 7034 would eliminate sales tax on clothing and shoe items that cost $75 or less. Right now, the sales tax across Florida is 6%, with counties having the option to add more. Meaning if you were to buy a $75 hoodie from the campus store, it would end up costing almost $80. Ashley Coppola is a junior marine biology major. She says she remembers tax holidays as a child and thinks the move will help shoppers.
I feel like most of my family, all the times before school when they have that no sales tax week, that's when everyone goes shopping for stuff because it benefits pretty much everyone.
The Senate is aiming to give shoppers relief for more than just a holiday. They want the sales tax eliminated permanently.
Behind me is the UCF campus store. Every day, students fill bags like this one with clothing items that would become tax-free under the proposed legislation. While it may sound nice at the cash register, essential government services depend on the tax dollars that those clothes raise.
Aubrey Jewett is a professor of political science here at UCF. He says it is a small win for shoppers, but there will be a noticeable impact in some areas.
I think the average Floridian is probably going to save less than $100 if this goes. I mean, you save a little, but not a ton. And again, there's the trade-off. Would you rather cut sales taxes on your sneakers, or would you rather give the teachers a small increase?
Jewett says sales tax makes up about 3/4 of tax revenue in Florida. And by removing it, Floridians will notice the effects. In Orlando, Stephen Brown, The Charge on Air.
For now, the sales tax elimination is making its way through the Florida Senate. Be sure to stay tuned to our coverage for updates on its progress through the legislature. College campuses run on t-shirts, whether it's at the bookstore or being passed out at Market Wednesday. But rising tariffs are making it harder for local companies to keep up. Charge on Air reporter Ella Shockley tells us how students will be affected.
It's a staple in every college student's closet, but lately, the t-shirt has become a symbol of rising cost in a global economy. Tariffs on imported cotton, fabric, and other goods have increased costs for U.S. producers. This results in higher costs for t-shirts. Amy Miller is a UCF campus manager for University Tees, a company that helps student organizations design and order custom shirts. She's seen firsthand how rising costs are affecting students.
So with tariffs, it's going to just increase the baseline cost. So you're probably going to start seeing a lot fewer colors on shirts, less intricate designs, just to keep the cost down.
Tariffs are affecting local businesses as well.
Impress Inc. is a company owned by UCF alumni. They often give back to the university by handing out free shirts at Market Wednesday or making shirts for other organizations or RSOs on campus. But with the rise of tariffs, how is this affecting the freebies that students are receiving?
The company sources materials from various suppliers, some of which are now subject to higher import taxes. Mike Cho, UCF alumni and co-founder of Impress Inc., explains that students may not need to worry just yet.
One surprising fact, however, is our best-selling product is a t-shirt. Most t-shirts are not made in China. So because of the 90-day holdover, we're okay. But then we also have kind of premium products like medals, pins, higher-end finished goods that are being affected.
The current 90-day hold on new tariffs leaves some uncertainty. Until then, American businesses and closets are stuck between fashion and foreign policy. In Central Florida, Ella Shockley, The Charge on Air.
With rising tariffs, the price of a basic t-shirt might not be so basic anymore. Catholics around the world are mourning the loss of Pope Francis. At UCF, a rosary service was held to honor the late Pope and unite in prayer. On Monday night, students gathered at the top of Garage F to pray the rosary in honor of Pope Francis. Pope Francis was known for his humility, progressive stances, and deep concerns for the poor and marginalized. Nick Holloway says Pope Francis's legacy lives on.
I think he was a very unifying pope in a lot of ways. I think he had a heart for those in the margins of society, just loving those who may not be receiving the love they should by others.
Pope Francis served the church for over a decade, making history as the first pope from the Americas. As a conclave is set to meet next month to elect a new pope, many students say they are praying for the cardinals voting and the new pope as he begins his service. Starting this fall, you can get the scoop on poop while earning college credit. Charge on Air reporter Nicholas Hernandez has more on a new class coming to UCF that teaches us how much fecal matter affects our everyday lives.
From ancient diets to modern art, there's a lot to digest when it comes to poop. That's why The Other Dark Matter, Anthropology and Fecal Science and Sustainability is just one of several new courses that UCF has approved for the fall. The class will be offered to all students as a special topics course online taught by Dr. Lana Williams. She says studying mummified remains in Egypt inspired her to create the course after learning just how insightful fecal matter can be.
Well, it's one of the few kinds of materials that get preserved very well. And it's also one of the things that every single person does. So we can really gain a lot of information about a lot of societies and our habits based on this material.
History aside, Dr. Williams says that fecal matter is actually playing a pretty solid role when it comes to sustainability today, helping make everyday plastics to even the money that's in your pocket. Scientists are even working on a way to use it to build bricks on Mars. Makes you wonder, what could the future look like if number 2 wasn't so taboo? We might not like to talk about it, but fecal matter is a pretty renewable resource. Yet, Dr. Williams says that it's rarely studied outside of the medical field. Faith Hendricks is an anthropology major at UCF whose love for the profession has made its way to her skin. She says she doesn't plan on letting disgust clog the toilet on learning.
There's so many other possibilities that we could dive into if we just remove that stigma. And sometimes you look at other cultures that don't have that stigma and it might seem a little foreign to us, but I think it's important to realize that it's not strange, it's just different.
Dr. Williams says that the class's online format is meant to help students get over this ick factor of studying fecal matter. She says she guarantees that recognizing the impact it's had on our world will have students saying,
You won't know what I found out today about poop.
In Orlando, Nicholas Hernandez, The Charge on Air.
The new class is now open for all students to enroll in for the fall semester. This year marks a major milestone for a program that has been changing lives for 2 decades. The Tony Jennings Exceptional Education Institute at UCF is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The program was launched by former Lieutenant Governor Tony Jennings to empower disabled individuals through education and career training. One key partner, Inclusive Education Services, shared its success with an 89% employment rate. This is a powerful reminder of different UCF programs. The United States House of Representatives voted this previous Thursday and passed the SAVE Act. Charge on Air reporter Alana Green tells us what exactly this means for the nation.
The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, also known as the SAFE Act, requires that all citizens registered to vote must show proof of citizenship. This could be either a passport or birth certificate. The conflict of this act is that about 50% of citizens do not own a passport, considering one costs at minimum $130. Another issue is that about 80% of married women's last names do not match their birth certificate. Therefore, they are not eligible to vote. I spoke with UCF's Assistant Director of Politics, Aubrey Jewett, to understand why this bill was introduced.
Well, the Republicans in Congress, and really many Republicans throughout the country, have been concerned about election security ever since 2020, when Donald Trump kept insisting that he had really won the election and that it was only fraud and cheating that stopped him from winning.
The SAVE Act hasn't become law just yet. The bill now moves on to the Senate and then the President, where its future will soon be determined. This decision will shape the next generation of future voters. There has been minimal proof of illegal voting. This bill aims to take out those few illegal voters while also eliminating millions of eligible voters in America. I spoke with the League of Women Voters Vice President Chloe Scott to understand a woman's perspective of this new bill.
I hope not. I will say we're in very unprecedented times. So really all that I can say is I'm hoping for the best, but honestly preparing for the worst just with how things are.
With majority Republican chairs in office, the Democrat supporters are becoming worried. The SAVE Act is once again causing controversy between the Democratic and Republican parties. In Orlando, Alana Green, The Charge on Air.
To get more information and stay up to date with the SAVE Act, you can go to www.congress.gov. UCF baseball will welcome West Virginia this weekend, hoping to keep the momentum. The Knights had a rough patch but seemed to be playing their brand of baseball again. Reporter Cecily Webb had a chance to talk to the team and see how they have kept a positive mindset.
This UCF baseball team started the season off hot, but had a rough stretch after going into conference play. The Knights hold a 22-17 record, but just 6-12 in conference play, only able to take 2 of their last 6 series. The UCF pitching staff has been making lots of adjustments, and head coach Rich Wallace says they're just trying to find the right rotation for this team's success.
We got to figure out ways to win these games. Some better at-bats and some better moments, some better pitch execution. We got to figure out the right mix with this bullpen.
Midweek starting pitcher Grant Siegel talks about this team getting back on track.
Baseball's hard. There's ups and downs, as we've seen this season, and sometimes the pitching's been there, sometimes the hitting's been there, sometimes neither's been there. So it's just like, today was a good day, it's a good win. Hitting was there, pitching was there, and that's what we can do, that we've been trying to do, and everyone's trying their best to get on track and stay on track.
The Knights lost to TCU Thursday night, but were able to come back and win on Friday and Saturday to take the series. Starting pitcher Matt Saucer says the team is hoping this is their turning point.
I hope this means we get on a roll. Hope we continue, bats stay hot, pitchers stay confident, we just keep going out there and doing the job.
Rich Wallace says he thinks this team's confidence is back, and that is going to be an important key in taking this team to postseason play.
You saw that look in their face, like, okay, we're back. We can play with these guys. We can do the things we need to do. There was a confidence level in what we were doing. And I think at some point in the last week, they said, screw it, and let's just play baseball, and it turned out in our favor.
The Knights are over halfway done with the regular season. Let's hope they can keep the confidence. In Orlando, Cecily Webb, The Charge on Air.
The Knights will host the Big 12's #1 ranked team, West Virginia, this weekend at John Iliano Park. Bring your furry friends to the park on Sunday for the Bark in the Park. Orlando has seen just over 1/4 of an inch of rainfall in the month of April. This marks Orlando's 12th driest April ever since rainfall started being recorded in 1892. Orlando hasn't seen much measurable rain since April 11th with a mere 0.01 inches of rainfall. Before that, the best Orlando saw was 0.27 inches on April 1st. Media production and management major Antonio Mitchell talks about how inconsistent Florida's weather is and how hot and dry the month of April has felt.
You can count on Florida for being is inconsistent. It rains sometimes, it downpours sometimes, and then we have weeks or months without any rain, without any sort of even just a little bit of spring showers or anything like that. It is hot, it's unbearable. I dread coming outside sometimes. And
the weather looks to get back to normal by the end of May or beginning of June. Orlando will be getting back on track with its regularly scheduled humidity and thunderstorms. Now let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Today's high is 86 degrees with partly cloudy skies and a chilly low of 65 degrees. There's a 0% chance of rain today, so feel free to leave those rain jackets at home. Tomorrow's high is 87 degrees with partly cloudy skies and a 0% chance of rain. It's going to keep getting hotter as we get closer to summer, so if you get the chance, you might want to head to the pool and enjoy the heat. That's all the time we have for now. Make sure to keep up with all that's happening throughout the week by following us on Instagram at The Charge News, and check back here tomorrow for another news update. I'm Skyler Williamson. Thanks for watching and have a great day.